Hello, g'day, kia ora and morena, everybody. My name is Junior Khan. I am here in New Zealand talking to you, everybody in New Zealand, in Australia, and the worldwide community. I'm here to give you a brief snapshot as to why New Zealand. Why should anybody call New Zealand home? Now, I believe that my fellow New Zealanders will get an opportunity to watch this and understand or get a quick snapshot of why an Australian calls New Zealand home, what's so appealing about New Zealand to call New Zealand home, and also at the same time any potential Aussies across the ditch, as we say, across the Tasman, who's considering calling New Zealand home, and further to broaden our horizons, anybody else around the world who is considering calling New Zealand home. So first and foremost, I do apologize about the scruffiness because at the time of this recording, we are currently in the middle of a pandemic. Pandemic being the worldwide phenomenon, the viral infection being the coronavirus. So whilst being in isolation, this is the result of being in isolation is this scruffiness. I can assure you, if you were to see me again in the future, there will not be a scruffiness. If anything, I will be scrubbed up very well to make an appearance. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, why New Zealand? Well, me personally, I've been here for 3 years. I'm calling New Zealand home. 3 years. I have lived here. I have spent time here. I've traveled quite a fair bit around New Zealand, and to be honest, could not be happier. Could not be happier. Yes, like any new place, any new foreign place does take a bit of time to adjust. But as soon as the light bulb clicks, or as we say, the penny drops, you will come to find that New Zealand is a very welcoming and appreciating place, and it is a place that can work or can live at your own pace, rather, at a pace based on the individual. So me, I can best sum up as to why I've picked New Zealand um, in two categories: personal category and socio-economical category. Now, there are four reasons as to why personally I call New Zealand home. One is the people. Okay, there is no other way around it but to say that the people of New Zealand are fantastic. Now, being an Australian, being raised in Australia, living all my life in Australia, I was grown up with the ideology or the phrase of give a person a chance. Okay, the Australian way. Well, unfortunately, I personally believe that with the time changing of times and with how the global landscape has changed, people have the tendency back home in Australia to forget the Australian way and the notion of give everybody a chance. Well, I was pleasantly surprised when I moved to New Zealand is that did not know that across the ditch there's a country by the name of New Zealand who actually practices that till this day, is that to give everybody a chance. If you approach someone with a pleasant demeanor, 99% of the time, in fact 100% of the time, you will get a response in a very friendly demeanor. Okay, yeah, New Zealand has a philosophy that everybody is trusted unless you give somebody a chance to not to be trusted, and that was the very big pleasant thing that I found once I relocated to New Zealand for right from the outset. So New Zealand does have that pride about sticking together, that we all barrack and we all go into the trenches for one another, which is so humbling and so beautiful as a nation. And that is something that I have found to be very, very appealing, first and foremost. Number two is the fact, um, it's no secret, the world does know New Zealand is the land of beautiful, majestic natural beauty, natural landscapes. You will not see a dry patch anywhere. And everything is lush. Everything is lush. Everything has a very good um, vibrancy about it. The flora and fauna is always alive, always flourishing. And to make matters even better is the fact that without fail, you will get all four seasons whilst living in New Zealand. So everything is taken care of, everything is catered for. The flora, the fauna, the animals, the local animals, they are always receiving their nourishment. So, I mean, so when you leave, when you just step out of your house, anywhere, wherever you are, you're guaranteed to see greenery everywhere, natural wonders, natural landscapes. You have natural mountains, natural valleys, and on top of that, wherever you live, it's a short distance to the beach. So that is something that I found to be very, very appealing and very welcoming and very, very serene. Serene is just that serenity of living here with the natural wonders. Number three is the food. Okay, the food. It's just absolutely fresh. The local food, by what I mean by the local food, is the local meat and the local dairy products. It's always fresh. Okay, it's always fresh. So when you go to the butcher, you will see that the meat is always looking fresh, and it's always got those nutrients, and also the milk, also the eggs, also the cheese. And it makes sense because if the nature here is so fresh, if the grass, the flora and fauna is so fresh, then it's only natural that the animals that consume the flora or fauna, they're going to be consuming healthy, rich, fresh nutrients. So, I mean, so without fail, you will come to find that the natural food, the natural meat, the natural dairy products, the natural food in general is always fresh here. And also, as I know, New Zealand lamb. Okay, just for an example, New Zealand lamb worldwide is world famous. Okay, and it's very expensive to buy, but there's a reason why. It's because it is so delicious, so succulent. Okay, and the protein, the natural protein in New Zealand, okay, is world famous. It is the most expensive, and it's because it is so pure. Okay, so those are the two examples as to why I can say the food and why it is so beautiful and why it is so fresh. Mind you, there's a knockback onto this, and that is that if you overindulge, you're bound to gain weight. So yes, with the fantastic tasty food that New Zealand does have on offer, you need to watch what you eat as well. Otherwise, you could quickly put on weight and you would not know where it came from. Last but not the least, I do love my music, and what I have found is that the local natural talent for music and for creativity and artistry, as I'd say, artistry. Yeah. So I mean, after living in Australia for so long, I can honestly tell you, with all due respect, no offense to Australia, but our local talent, our local music talent, does not even compare or compete when it comes to the talent that is in New Zealand, either in sport, in the sporting arena, or when it comes to the music arena. Music wise, the local music that is created and produced on a yearly basis, it is phenomenal. It is only just a matter of time. It surprises me that the global reach isn't there, or all of these talent isn't discovered. I don't see why the music industry isn't the next American music industry or the British music industry, because the local talent is just so rich and so spectacular. There's a fusion of reggae, there's a fusion of rock, there's a fusion of R&B, there's a fusion of pop. So yeah, those are the four things as to why I do choose New Zealand home. That is a snapshot, and yeah, that's personally for me. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, number two being the socio-economic reasons. Um, Unfortunately, for the best part of 10 years plus, Australia, I mean, as I can just compare on the basis of the economies, Australia's economy, unfortunately, due to political reasons or not, the economy has not been stable. Whereas on the flip side, when you look at New Zealand having a stable economy, and that starts from the top, with the politicians, with the lawmakers, with the legislators, with the governance, and everybody else that is important to run a country. They are in unison. They are in unison, and they are very, very stable, and hence why the economy has always been so stable for the best part of 10 plus years. So when you compare both countries, I'm sure that you would like to live in a place where there's a lot more stable, where there's a lot more sense of direction, where there's a lot of trust, a lot of stability, a lot of comfortability. That's one thing. And the other thing is the fact that being a small country, it is always going from strength to strength. Okay, it is always going from strength to strength. It's further progressing as a small nation, and there's so much potential as a nation to further prosper. And now that goes without saying that Australia is just a place no one should live in or should not choose Australia or anything as such. It's just that me personally, I've come to find that there's what a person seeks immediately on their personal basis. New Zealand has that to offer as opposed to what Australia has at the moment. If Australia can get its ducks in a row, as they say in New Zealand, if they can sort out what needs to be sorted out immediately as opposed to sorting out what isn't necessarily urgent, if they can basically get their ducks in a row, can ascertain and recapture that Australian way of life, the way of life of Australia, what was based on, and the foundations of Australia. There goes without saying as to how New Zealand and Australia cannot be powerful countries on the global scale. Okay, so this snapshot video isn't to disparage or to libel or to offend or to talk ill or to be derogatory towards Australia. Hey, Australia's still home, okay, and I still love Australia. I'm still an Australian, okay. There's no better place apart from New Zealand in the world than Australia, okay, and I quite frankly believe that both countries are just as good as one another. It's just that when you pick a place, you got to look at what is relevant and what is important for you at that point in time or your future. And I'm not saying that what is important for me should be important for you, whoever it is that's watching. No, that goes without saying. That what is important for me is subjective, it's relative to me. And this is why New Zealand fits that bill, because it is exactly what I'm seeking in life. Now, another individual, they may find that what Australia has got to offer and what is relative to them and subjectively to them, Australia may be suitable, and that's absolutely fine. Okay, so, but personally for me, this is why I've chosen New Zealand. This is why I choose New Zealand to call New Zealand home. This is why I'm very patriotic about New Zealand, and this is the reason why I couldn't be happier to call New Zealand home. So yeah, that's the quick snapshot. Once again, my name's Junior Khan. It's been a pleasure having a quick conversation with you on the other side. And yeah, if there's any other questions or anything, I'm sure there will be a way to get in contact with me. But yeah, it's good to call New Zealand home. Take care, guys. Take care of yourself and each other. Thank you very much. Bye bye.